Do you ever feel like there's a relentless critic living inside your own head? That nagging, persistent voice that whispers doubt, fear, and "you're not good enough," often at the very moments you need your confidence the most. What if I told you that the ancient Stoic philosophers were the original mental warriors, and that they developed a powerful arsenal of practical strategies designed specifically to defeat this inner enemy? To silence this inner critic, once and for all, forget just thinking positive. Today, we're unlocking the authentic Stoic blueprint for not just silencing your negative thoughts, but for fundamentally transforming your mind into a fortress of genuine resilience, clarity, and calm. This is how you begin to win the war within. Did you know that studies suggest as many as 85% of people struggle with low self-esteem directly links to negative self-talk at some point in their lives? Now, that's a number so significant it should stop us all in our tracks and make us ask a crucial question: what is really going on inside our own minds? Today, we're diving deep into a topic that is as profoundly challenging as it is potentially transformative: killing your negative thinking. And this isn't just about trying to silence that inner critic with fleeting positive affirmations. It's about fundamentally empowering ourselves to live richer, fuller, more fulfilling lives. In the world of Stoicism, we find a profound and deeply practical understanding that our thoughts are not mere insignificant whispers in the mind. They are often the loud, commanding voices that can dictate our happiness and, just as easily, our suffering. Stoic wisdom powerfully teaches us that while the world around us might not always bend to our will, our perception of it, the narrative we tell ourselves about it, is almost entirely up to us. The Stoics weren't just ancient, armchair philosophers, they were the ultimate mental warriors, constantly battling against the potential tyranny of their own uncontrolled thoughts and unchecked emotions. Using the powerful weapons of rationality, self-awareness, and a cultivated inner calm. Today, I'm here to guide you through understanding how these negative thoughts truly impact us, and then to explore practical, actionable Stoic strategies to effectively combat them. We'll learn how to harness the incredible, often untapped, power of our own minds to construct a life not bound by the heavy chains of negativity, but instead propelled forward by the timeless Stoic virtues of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Now, if you're skeptical, I genuinely encourage you to stay with me through this journey. This exploration might challenge some of your deepest held beliefs about your own thoughts, but it will also, I promise, open the door to a new horizon of profound personal growth. And before we jump in, I invite you to share this video with anyone else you know who is on their own journey of personal growth and philosophical exploration. And if you appreciate the kind of deep, insightful conversations we're exploring here and want to support our shared journey into Stoicism, a simple, free favor I'll ask is for you to hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. Negative thinking isn't just an occasional nuisance or a fleeting bad mood. For many, it's a pervasive, almost chronic, issue that can dramatically, negatively impact every single facet of our lives, from how we feel the moment we wake up in the morning, to the critical choices we make about our health, our careers, and our most important relationships. These thoughts can be truly debilitating. But what really is negative thinking at its core? Essentially, it's a conditioned pattern of thought that anticipates the worst, that consistently undermines our own best efforts, and that often assumes we are less capable, less worthy, or less deserving than we truly are. So, why do so many of us fall into this damaging trap? The Stoic philosophers believed that it's not the external events themselves that truly disturb us, but rather our internal interpretations of these events. The great Stoic teacher Epictetus famously said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them." This powerful perspective is at the very heart of understanding our problem with negative thinking. It's not necessarily the objective reality of a situation that constrains us. It's the subjective lens through which we choose to view our world. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung's exploration of the human psyche provides further complementary insight. He recognized that much of our negative thinking often stems from the less conscious parts of our mind, the personal and collective unconscious. Jung wisely wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." By courageously bringing these often hidden unconscious beliefs, biases, and fears into the clear light of our conscious examination, we can begin to mitigate their power and their unseen control over our lives. Consider for a moment the tangible impact this has on our everyday experience. When faced with a new challenge or opportunity, negative thinking can make us feel as though we've already lost before we've even begun, thus preventing us from taking the very actions that could lead to our success. It's like being in a sturdy boat and rowing with all your might, full of effort and determination, but not realizing you're still firmly anchored to the shore. No matter how hard you try, you're simply not going anywhere. Stoicism teaches us to examine our thoughts critically and logically, to bravely question the validity of these negative, often automatic, assumptions. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal journal, Meditations, constantly prompts us to reflect on our thoughts with intense scrutiny, and to dismiss those that are irrational, unhelpful, or out of alignment with our virtuous goals. This kind of disciplined introspection allows us to consciously detach from these harmful thinking patterns and to regain sovereign control of our own mental landscape. Let's also not underestimate the powerful influence of our societal and cultural backdrop. In a world that is often saturated with relentless messages of not being enough, whether it's not successful enough, not rich enough, not attractive enough, or not smart enough, it's easy to see why negative thoughts can so easily creep in and take root. These pervasive societal messages often find fertile ground in our minds, sprouting like insidious weeds of doubt and insecurity that can, if left unchecked, choke out the beautiful flowers of our true potential. But Stoicism arms us with the practical, time-tested tools to methodically clear out these weeds and to consciously, diligently cultivate a beautiful inner garden of more supportive, empowering, and rational thoughts. This pervasive issue of negative thinking is precisely what we're tackling today. It's not just about trying to dismiss or avoid negative thoughts, which is often a futile endeavor. It's about understanding them deeply, questioning them thoroughly, and then consciously choosing to replace them with reasoned, constructive, and virtuous thinking. This Stoic approach isn't just about coping, it's about truly thriving. By mastering our thoughts, we master our perceptions, and ultimately, we master our lives. So, as we continue, let's keep in mind that each thought we choose to entertain, and each one we decide to courageously challenge, is a significant step towards creating the kind of peaceful, purposeful, and resilient life we truly want to live. Understanding the deep origins of our negative thinking is absolutely essential if we are to address it effectively at its root. This isn't just about identifying a few bad habits, it's about uncovering the deep-seated patterns and beliefs that have shaped our perceptions and influenced our mental landscape. Often for years, negative thoughts frequently sprout from a wide variety of sources: our upbringing and early childhood experiences, pervasive societal pressures, our own past failures and rejections, and sometimes even the seemingly inconsequential, offhand comments from those around us. Each of these experiences can inadvertently plant seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation within us, which, if not consciously addressed, can mature over time into a persistent, habitual state of negativity. From a very young age, Many of us are introduced to environments that might not have optimally fostered positive self-esteem. Consider a child who is repeatedly told they are not smart enough, or an educational system that seems to reward only rote memorization and perfection, often punishing mistakes rather than seeing them as learning opportunities. These early experiences can significantly color our entire worldview. The great philosopher Aristotle once remarked that we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. If we apply this powerful thinking to the mind, we can clearly see that repeated negative thoughts can easily become an ingrained habit of seeing ourselves and our capabilities in a perpetually diminished light. Our own personal experiences of failure and rejection can then serve to reinforce these negative internal scripts. Every time we face a setback or encounter criticism, it can feel like an affirmation of that negative internal dialogue that constantly whispers, "I knew I couldn't do it," or "I'm just not cut out for this." This can quickly turn into a self-fulfilling prophecy, not because we fundamentally lack capability, but because we begin to act in ways that align with our negative, self-limiting beliefs, thereby creating the very outcomes we fear. Plato's profound idea that reality is created by the mind, and that we can change our reality by changing our mind, is incredibly relevant here. By consciously examining and courageously challenging our interpretations of past events, we can start to methodically dismantle the very foundations of our negative thoughts. Fear, of course, also plays a critical, central role in fostering negative thinking. Fear is a natural, often helpful, protective mechanism, but it can frequently spiral into excessive, irrational worry or pervasive anxiety, overshadowing our rational judgment. The fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, and the fear of rejection can all lead to catastrophic thinking, where the mind immediately, almost automatically, jumps to the worst possible outcomes in any given situation. Stoicism, once again, offers a powerful tool against this, the practice of premeditatio malorum, which involves deliberately, calmly visualizing the worst-case scenario in detail, not to dwell in fear, but to lessen its emotional impact and to mentally prepare, should it actually occur. Carl Jung astutely suggested that, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. Many of our most persistent negative thoughts are, in fact, rooted in these unconscious beliefs, often formed in our early years and influenced by our guardians, our teachers, and the pervasive media we consume. These unconscious beliefs often go unchallenged for decades because they are not fully known to our conscious, rational mind, but the very act of bringing these beliefs into the light of conscious awareness can begin to rob them of their hidden power and allow us to regain sovereign control of our own thoughts. Moreover, societal and cultural pressures cannot be overlooked. We often live in a society that emphasizes scarcity and hyper-competition, setting exceptionally high, often unrealistic, standards that can seem unattainable. This kind of environment can lead to constant, unhealthy comparisons and pervasive feelings of never being good enough. Stoicism wisely teaches us to redirect our focus away from this futile game of external validation and towards the cultivation of our own internal virtues, encouraging us to measure our success by our own personal growth and character, rather than by a constant, soul-crushing comparison to others. The roots of negative thinking, as you can see, are varied and complex, often involving a tangled web of personal history, emotional experiences, ingrained fears, and powerful societal messages. However, by leveraging the timeless wisdom of both Western philosophy and modern psychology, particularly the Stoic focus on consciously controlling our perceptions and our reactions, we can begin to truly understand and methodically unravel these negative thought patterns. This deep understanding not only helps to mitigate their harmful effects but, More importantly, it empowers us to consciously reconstruct our own mental framework in a more positive, rational, and profoundly resilient way. When we talk about renewing our minds, we're not just suggesting a fleeting, superficial attempt to think more positively. We are advocating for a profound, deep, and enduring transformation of our entire internal dialogue. This is about consciously cultivating a mindset that enables us not just to survive life's challenges, but to truly thrive amidst them. The Stoic philosophers offer timeless, practical guidance on how this can be achieved, primarily through the disciplined, daily practice of reflecting on our thoughts and deliberately shaping them to foster resilience, virtue, and inner peace. One of the central tenets of Stoicism is the powerful idea that our emotions and our reactions are ultimately the results of our own judgments, and our judgments are within our power to change. Marcus Aurelius, that wise Stoic emperor, once noted, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This potent assertion powerfully reminds us that all genuine renewal, all true transformation, begins by seizing control of our own thoughts, by scrutinizing them for accuracy and usefulness, and then by consciously aligning them with our true intentions, our deepest values, and reality itself. Aristotle also provides a valuable perspective here. He famously said, "Knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom." This introspective journey involves diving deep into our own thought patterns and honestly identifying those that serve us well versus those that consistently sabotage our efforts and our peace of mind. By becoming more acutely aware of our thoughts, we can finally begin to effectively challenge the negative ones that have perhaps become so deeply ingrained and automatic over time. Now, this process of challenging and consciously changing our thoughts isn't about denying or suppressing our legitimate emotions. It's about understanding them better, recognizing their cognitive roots, and thus managing them more effectively and wisely. Moreover, Carl Jung's profound insights into the human psyche beautifully complement this Stoic wisdom. Jung argued that what you resist not only persists, but will grow in size. Instead of trying to forcefully resist or push away negative thoughts, which often gives them more power, Stoicism teaches us to calmly acknowledge them, to analytically examine their origin, and to rationally assess their truthfulness. This methodical approach prevents these thoughts from festering and gaining strength in the dark shadows of our unconscious, where they can often grow unchecked and cause significant turmoil. Additionally, truly renewing the mind requires us to proactively engage with materials, activities, and environments that nurture positivity, growth, and wisdom. This might include regularly reading philosophical texts that challenge our current understanding and expand our perspective, engaging with art that inspires and uplifts us, or simply, and perhaps most importantly, spending dedicated time in quiet reflection and meditation. These activities provide our minds with new narratives, healthier perspectives, and more empowering stories that can gradually, yet surely, replace our old, unhelpful, and often self-limiting ones. Socrates' famous insistence on the vital importance of living an examined life plays a crucial role here. By continually, honestly examining our core beliefs and the thoughts that naturally stem from them, we engage in a perpetual process of mental renewal that keeps our minds agile, our spirits resilient, and our actions consistently aligned with our highest philosophical goals. This ongoing examination isn't merely a one-time task, it's a way of living that keeps our internal world refreshed, rational, and attuned to the true, objective reality of our experiences. Plato also emphasized the importance of aligning with the forms, the ideal, perfect versions of abstract concepts like justice, beauty, and goodness. In a similar vein, renewing our own minds can be seen as a conscious, daily effort to align our thoughts with the most virtuous, the most courageous, and the most empowered versions of ourselves. By consistently aspiring to these noble ideals in our own thoughts and actions, we begin to craft a self-concept that is robust, compassionate, and deeply, authentically wise. To put all of this into immediate, practical action, we can start each day with a simple yet profound affirmation, which is just the beginning. The next crucial step is to build a supportive ecosystem for our minds. This brings us to a powerful Stoic strategy: consciously choose and curate your environment. This principle involves the deliberate choice of the people, the places, and the media that you allow to influence your mental well-being. The great Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely advised, associate with people who are likely to improve you. This guidance encourages us to be selective about our company and to cultivate relationships that inspire and challenge us to grow. Even Aristotle discussed this when he categorized friendships into 3 types: those of utility, pleasure, and the good. The highest form, the friendship of the good, is based on mutual respect and admiration of each other's virtues. These are the relationships that encourage us to become better versions of ourselves. They are inherently positive because they are rooted in a mutual striving for excellence. Moreover, Plato's allegory of the cave teaches us about the impact of our environment on our perception. Those who lived in the cave believed shadows were reality because that was all they were exposed to. When one escapes and sees the world outside, he realizes the limitations of his understanding. This metaphor beautifully illustrates how expanding our surroundings to include positive and enlightening influences can profoundly change our perspective. In practical terms, surrounding ourselves with positivity means more than just being around cheerful people. It involves engaging with content and activities that reinforce our philosophical goals. It means participating in communities, both online and offline, where discussions are rooted in encouragement and constructive feedback, rather than criticism. It requires us to be vigilant about the media we consume, opting for books, films, and programs that inspire rather than those that perpetuate fear. It also means creating an environment at home and work that reflects the values we admire. This can be as simple as keeping a clean and organized living space, which mirrors a clean and organized mind, or decorating our spaces with art and symbols that remind us of our philosophical commitments, like courage, justice, moderation, and wisdom. By curating our environment, we create a supportive ecosystem for our better natures to thrive. Of course, curating our environment is only part of the battle. Next, we must take action and embody the philosophy. In our journey to overcome negative thinking, the Stoics powerfully remind us that understanding and good intentions alone are never enough. Action is absolutely essential, as the great Epictetus succinctly put it. First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This straightforward directive underscores a profound Stoic truth. Our highest ideals must be manifested through our actual deeds, not just our thoughts or our words. Taking action, in the Stoic sense, means consistently engaging in behaviors and practices that actively reinforce our philosophical ideals. It involves making deliberate, conscious choices every single day that align with our chosen values of wisdom, justice, courage, and moderation. By actively embodying these virtues in our daily actions, we directly challenge the negative thoughts that whisper claims that we are incapable or unworthy, thereby systematically rewriting our internal narrative to one of empowerment, competence, and self-efficacy. The great philosophers who laid the groundwork for Stoicism also emphasized this. Aristotle highlights the significance of action in his doctrine of the mean, where virtue is not just a passive state of mind, but a state of character that results from the habitual practice of choosing the mean between two extremes. This practice is inherently action-oriented. For Aristotle, we become just by performing just actions. We become brave by performing acts of bravery, and we become temperate by performing acts of temperance. Thus, action is not merely a demonstration of virtue, it is the very means by which virtue is cultivated and strengthened. Similarly, Plato's theory of forms posits that to truly know the good is to do the good. In other words, true knowledge, once genuinely attained, necessarily results in right action. Therefore, by consistently aligning our actions with our Stoic understanding of virtue, we bring ourselves closer to that ideal of the good, elevating not just our minds but our entire beings. Taking Stoic action involves more than just combating negative thoughts when they arise. It's about proactively living out the virtues that define this powerful philosophy. It's about making choices, both small and large, that reflect an unwavering commitment to self-improvement and philosophical integrity, whether it's choosing to speak kindly and with patience in a difficult situation, opting to courageously face a long-standing fear, or deciding to forgive someone who has wronged us. Each and every one of these actions is a significant step towards becoming the person we truly aspire to be. Moreover, taking Stoic action means embracing the challenges that life inevitably throws our way as precious opportunities for growth. Instead of shying away from difficult circumstances, the Stoic sees these as arenas in which to practice and demonstrate virtue. Each challenge becomes a call to action, a challenge to demonstrate resilience, to practice patience, or to reaffirm our unwavering commitment to our deepest principles. In practical terms, taking Stoic action can be as simple as setting daily goals that reflect your values, engaging in community service that fosters justice and kindness, or maintaining disciplines like journaling or meditation that encourage deep reflection and self-control. Each of these actions not only counters negative thinking but also actively builds a stronger, more virtuous self. Finally, we must master our words, both internal and external. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that it's not only our actions that reflect our virtues, but also our speech. The power of words in shaping our reality simply cannot be overstated. Epictetus once advised, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." This idea points to the inherent power of our words to influence and create, not just to passively express our thoughts and emotions. The Stoics profoundly understood that words could either build up or tear down the inner citadel of our minds. Marcus Aurelius, in his personal writings, often reflected on how to communicate effectively and truthfully, emphasizing that our words should always be seasoned with the virtues we aim to cultivate, such as honesty, restraint, and kindness. By consciously aligning our speech with these virtues, we powerfully reinforce our Stoic practice and extend its positive influence outward, impacting those around us in a constructive way. The power of words also extends, perhaps most importantly, to our internal dialogues. The words we consistently use to talk to ourselves can significantly influence our self-perception, our confidence, and our emotional state. Negative self-talk, a common human experience, can be particularly destructive, often leading to decreased motivation and increased feelings of helplessness. Conversely, positive and rational self-talk, grounded in Stoic virtues and a realistic understanding of the world, can empower, uplift, and fortify our spirit. Engaging in positive affirmations, a practice often recommended in modern cognitive behavioral therapies, aligns beautifully with ancient Stoic exercises. These affirmations are not about deluding oneself with unrealistic, Pollyanna-ish statements. They are about consistently, intentionally reinforcing the strength and resilience that come from a Stoic understanding of control and virtue. By affirming our ability to manage our own responses and our unwavering commitment to living according to our chosen values, we significantly strengthen our Stoic resolve. Therefore, the power of words in Stoicism is not merely theoretical but deeply, immediately practical. It encompasses our dialogues with others, our crucial internal monologues, and even the way we engage with the broader culture. Each word we choose to think, to speak, to write, carries immense weight, either building or breaking down, enlightening or obscuring, healing or hurting, as we continue on our journey to cultivate Stoic virtues and overcome negative thinking. Let us be ever mindful of the transformative power of our words to shape ourselves, positively influence others, and help create a world more aligned with reason, virtue, and wisdom. Thank you for joining us today on this profound journey through the depths of Stoic philosophy. Remember, the words we choose and the actions we take are what forge the path to a life lived with virtue and purpose. As you continue to navigate the complexities of life, let the timeless wisdom of Stoicism guide your way, turning every challenge into a valuable opportunity for growth. If you found today's discussion enlightening, I warmly invite you to watch our next video, which explores the Stoic approach to overcoming adversity. It's right here on the screen, so just click and continue your journey with us. Thank you for being a part of our Mindful Stoic Moments community. Together, we're building not just knowledge, but a global community dedicated to wisdom, resilience, and a life well lived.